All right, testing 1, 2, 3. Looks like everything's working correctly. We'll just make sure that this is sending the information like it should. Good. Come on. Yep. All right. Good. The information like it should. All right, good. So we have a strong connection. We can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and close this down, and let's continue. So put this up over here. Make sure that I can monitor in case anything goes awry. Let's see here. Let's see. Come on, up. Come on. Close that down. All right. Good. Okay, so I have everything set, ready to go. Here we have Journal pulled up, and we'll just keep on working. So gonna put in about 3 hours. So let's get started. 3 hours on the clock. Hope everyone's having a good evening. Let's proceed. Here we go. Where were we? We were on journal, right? A typical mistake is made by many diligent students who are adhering to the advice to keep a scientific journal. And then here we go. Next portion. There we go. A friend. And then friend. What is friend? I haven't done that one before. F-R-N, end. Pretty sure that's friend. Searching for friend. There we go. It's just FR, okay? A friend of mine does not let any idea. A friend of mine does not let any idea, interesting finding, or quote, interesting finding, or quote, he stumbles upon, he stumbles. Remember, stumble is not a place where we use the TM ending. He stumbles upon. Dwindle. Dwindle is a word. I don't know if it's in the dictionary or not. Let's go ahead and check. Dwindle. Okay. Dwindle. There we go. There's dwindle. Let's see here. Dwindle away and writes everything down. He stumbles upon dwindle away, comma, dwindle away and writes everything down. And writes everything down. He always carries a notebook with him. He always carries a notebook with him notebook could be a little clearer. He always carries a notebook with him and often makes a few quick notes during a conversation. And often makes a few quick notes during a conversation. During a conversation. That's conversation. Don't remember exactly what that is, so let's go check it. Conversation. KVES, I believe. Let's see here. Conversation. There it is. KVES and then shun. Yep. During a conversation. The advantage is obvious. The advantage is obvious. Should be curved the other way. Yep. Is obvious. The advantage is obvious. No idea ever gets lost. No idea ever. Ever, I think, is just EV. Right? Ever gets lost. Let's see here. No idea ever gets lost. I'm pretty sure that's ever. Let's go ahead and check it. Yep. And lost. L-O-S-T. That's it. Ever gets lost. Good. No idea ever gets lost. The disadvantages are serious. The disadvantages. So would this be the disadvantages? Because if advantage is AV, the disadvantage... Okay, it curves up over the top, but other than that, that is correct. So the disadvantages are serious. Serious. What is serious? Serious. Are serious, though. Colon. As he treats every note as if it belongs to the permanent category. Oh, there it is. As he treats, let's see here, every note as if it belongs, it belongs to the permanent category, to the this is page 6, to the permanent category. That's catag, right? To the permanent category, and this is in quotes. The notes will never build up to critical mass. The notes will never build up to critical mass. Up to a critical mass. Up to a critical mass. The collection of good ideas is diluted to insignificance. Just make sure that that is the collection. Oh. Okay, so I have to have the shun ending, otherwise it is just collect. The collection of good ideas is diluted, so we need dilute. Diluted. Dilutes. There we go, so it's diluted to insignificance. Go check insignificance. Insignificance. Insig. Very good. Insignificance. Very good. Oh, shorten the in a little bit. There we go. Wow, insignificance, that is crazy. Which means that significance is the same. Insig and then significance would just be SG. Wow, interesting. Okay. The collection is diluted to insignificance by all the other notes. By all the other notes, which are only relevant for a specific project, which are only relevant for a specific, which are only relevant for a specific. So let's look up specific. If I can spell it correctly. Specific. Spec. There we go. To a specific that are only relevant for a specific project. There we go. Or actually not that good on second sight. Or actually not that good on second sight. On top of that, the strict chronological order let's check, make sure that's strict and that we're not missing an. The strict, don't need the T at the end. Chronological order, chronological. Look up chronological. Chronological. So that goes chronocal. Chronological. Order. The strict chronological order does not offer any help. Does not offer any help. Does not offer any help to find combine or rearrange, to find, comma, combine. Let's see what combine is. There's combine. Combine. On top of that, the strict chronological order does not offer any help to find, combine, or rearrange. Now, I think I remember rearrange, right? Yes, this one. I think it's a line through there, right? Rearrange. Yep, that's it. And there, the dash actually goes underneath. So it's to rearrange, combine, or rearrange. The strict chronological order does not offer any help to find, combine, or rearrange ideas in a productive sense. Ideas in a and then is tiv just, what is tiv? Let's see here. Productive. You do need the V at the end, okay. Productive, good, in a productive sense. And sense is here. There we go. It is not surprising that my friend, oh, this is sad. It is not surprising. I think that's surprise, right? Let's look up surprise. Surprise. Surprising. It is not surprising. S-E. It is not surprising that my friend has a bookshelf filled with notebooks. There's bookshelf. So we simply just add the shelf ending. So we go book shelf has a bookshelf filled, and filled is like that. Filled with notebooks full of wonderful ideas. Full of wonderful ideas, but not a single publication to show. Wow. Full of wonderful ideas, but not a single publication to show. Wow. That is sad. My goodness. Okay. Okay. Not a single to show. Okay. Not a single publication to show. Let's move this down a little bit. Publication, need to clean that up just a little bit. To show. And I need to make sure that, I'm pretty sure that's wonderful. Yep, wonderful and full. Yep, that's full. Okay, full of wonderful ideas. All right, so let's go ahead and go back, reread the paragraph. Starting at the little arrow mark. Let's go back through. So let's find the caret. It's not really a caret, it's more like the, was it the less than symbol? And we look for that. There it is. Typical. Yes, there we go. Typical. Stame. A typical. MST. Mistake. A typical mistake. Oh, and that. I mean, that is MST, but it should be a little smaller. A typical mistake. Seem is made by many diligent students who are adhering, who are adhering to the advice to keep a scientific journal. A friend of mine does not let any idea interesting finding or quote he stumbles upon. Let's go ahead and clean up upon, make it just a little bit more of a curve. There we go. He stumbles upon, dwindle away and writes everything down. He always carries, is that carry? I looked up carry, didn't I? Oh, so it's just, it curves over the top. Yep. He always carries. And how would you do an S? Like that? Or maybe it's just through the middle? Maybe? Maybe carries? I mean, it would curve the other way. Carries, carries. Let me see if carries is in the list. Let's check over here. Okay. Oh, okay, so you do just curve down through the middle. Hello, Rasmussen. Hello. Actually, I need to check. When did that start? 6:15? Oh, okay. I've got the chat pulled up here now so I can see you. I should be able to respond as soon as I see it, which it takes like 20 seconds. All right. So let's go back to carries. Carries. Where was carries? Oh, there it is. No, Rasmussen is not in the list. So carries, I think it just flips over the top. There's carries. It carries a notebook, so he always carries a notebook with him, and often makes a few quick notes during uh conversation, during a conversation. And the advantage is obvious. No idea ever gets lost. The disadvantages are all right. See you, Rasmussen. Adios. The disadvantages are severe. Is it severe? S-E-R? No, are serious. That's serious. Are serious too? No, that's not right. Are serious indeed? Let's see. Are serious though. I need to clean that up a little bit. So let's go ahead and grab the pen. Clean this up. Are serious though. There we go. Let's go back to the pencil. As he treats every note as if it belongs, As if it belongs. As if it belongs. Let's check out belong. Yeah, that's correct. Okay. As if it belongs to the permanent category, the notes will never build up to a critical mass. The collection of good ideas is diluted to insignificance by all the other notes, which are only relevant for a specific project or actually not that good on second sight. On top. Let's see what top is. What is top? Let's see. Top. Oh, so that would be tip. Okay, on top of. So let's go ahead and grab this. On top of that, the STRK. The struck. On top of that, the struct order. Oh, strict. On top of that, the strict chronological order does not offer any help to find combine, or rearrange ideas in a productive sense. It is not eyes. It is not surprising. It is not surprising that it is not surprising that, so this should be a that symbol. It is not surprising that my friend has a bookshelf filled with notebooks full of wonderful ideas, but not a single publication to show. Okay? But not a single publication to show. Okay. Moving on, what's the next one? Not a single publication to show. The second typical mistake is to collect notes. So this is the next paragraph. The second and typical, I'm pretty sure it's just typical, mistake. The second typical, just TP and then a disjointed typical. Oh no, it's TEP, disjointed K. Typical. The second typical mistake the second typical mistake is to collect notes only, is to collect notes only related. Let's look up related. There's related. To collect only related to specific projects. To specific, and I think, isn't this, it's specific? I'm pretty sure that's specific. Specific, yep, that is specific. To specific projects. Let's see here, to specific projects. On first sight, it makes much more sense. So let's grab this, we go. On first sight, it makes much more sense. On specific, it makes much more sense. You decide what you are going to write about. You decide. You decide. Oh, nope, this one flips around, so that's how you can tell the difference. That's design is the other one, I think. So decide is just decide. You decide what you are going to write about, what you are going to write about, and then collect everything that helps you to do that. And then collect everything that helps you to do that. The disadvantage is that you have to start all over. Is that you have to start all over after each project, after each, I don't think that's each. Let me check. Oh, nope, it does flip around the other way. Yep. After each project, and cut off all other promising lines of thought. And cut off all other promising, all other promising. Did I add another page? I think I did, right? Nope. Control D. What is promising? Promise is an interesting one. if I remember correctly. All other promising, so let's grab this. P-R-M-S, right? Let's see, it's P-R-M-S. Pretty sure that's promise. Let's go ahead and check that out. Promising. Yep, perfect. All other promising lines of thought. Lines of thought. Lovely, lovely. Oh. Okay. All other promising lines of thought. That means that everything you found that I'll keep those two separate. That everything you found, thought or encountered, I think that's in. Let's see if I can figure this one out. This is encountered. Let's check and see if that's encounter. Oh, that's right. Encounter is above the line of writing. I always forget that, so let's go ahead and get rid of this one, and we need encounter. Encountered. That means that everything you found, thought, or encountered during the time. Here we go. During the time of a project will be lost. Will be lost. If you try to mitigate the effect, if you try to mitigate. Oh, I don't know about mitigate. You try to mitigate. Mitigate. Ooh, love that one. Mitigate. Mitigate what? If you try to mitigate the effect by opening a new folder, if you try to mitigate the effect by opening, right? Is that opening a new folder? Didn't I look up folder already? Let me check again. Yes, okay, good. A new folder for every potential new project. For every potential, look up potential. That should be potential. And that would be, let's try to do it. It's potential. Potential. Let's see if that's right or some variant. Potential. Oh, it's only potential. And that's potential. which makes sense because there's really no other word that's similar to that. So if we go potential, okay, for every potential new project, whenever you stumble upon something, whenever, let's see, and ever, that should be this. Whenever. Let's check that out. And that's correct. Whenever you stumble upon something, whenever you stumble, S-T-M, stumble upon, let's check stumble. There's stumble, good. Whenever you stumble upon something, when you stumble upon something that might be interesting for that might be interesting for that, you will soon end up with an overwhelming. You will soon end up with an overwhelming. Let's see what overwhelm. Okay, all right, I was pretty close. You do have to do the M. So an overwhelming amount of unfinished projects. Oh boy. Amount of unfinished. Pretty sure that's unfinished. Let's see if that's finished. And that's it. That's it. But okay, you don't do a disjointed. You just continue to create the jagged line. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Of unfinished. Oh, come on, let's see here. Unfinished. Let's see, what is this? An overwhelming amount of unfinished projects. And that unfinished projects, if that in itself does not become, if that in itself does not become a drag. Ooh, I think doesn't that curve in under? Might just be DRG, but we'll see. Oh, nope. That's dragon. Drag is not one of the words. Whoa. Okay. Let's add that. There's drag. Okay. Drag. Let's see if that does not itself become a drag on your motivation. On your motivation. On your motivation. Okay. The task of keeping track of them will. The task of keeping track of them will. Make sure that that's track. That's track, good. Of keeping track of them will. But more importantly, check that out. Yep, it just add an E to the end. That'll make it good. So, more importantly, without a permanent reservoir of ideas, without a permanent reservoir, there's a word for you. Let's go check out reservoir. Reservoir. Oh, that's supposed to be a V. Oh, okay. Reservoir of a permanent reservoir of ideas, you will not be able to develop any major idea. You will not be able to develop what is develop? Is it? That's not right. I remember develop is a nice word, but oh, okay, yeah, develop, it has to have the L at the end. You will not be able to develop, be able to develop any major ideas over a longer period of time. You will not be able to develop any major ideas over a longer period of time. Over a longer, and it just curves back around, right? Over a longer, is that longer? Yes. Longer, and then period. What is period? Let's check that out. Period. period of time. Let's see, over a longer period of time, because you are restricting yourself, comma, because, it's not even a comma, just because you are, and then restricting, you are restricting yourself. Yeah, okay. Boy, have I used yourself in a while? Because you are restricting yourself either to the length of a single project, either to the what is length? Length. Okay, it's just L-L-E-N. Okay, that's interesting. Either to the length of a single project, of a single project, or no, yeah, single project, or the capacity of your memory, or the capacity, KP, I think it might be this if we go capacity. Let's look up that and see if it's correct. Oh, of course, it's an example where we can use the disjointed S. So that's a time, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Capacity, and it's capacity. Okay, like that. The capacity, let's see here, of your memory. Of your memory. And that's correct. Good. Memory. Yes. Exceptional ideas exceptional ideas need much more time than that. Exceptional. Once again, it's E-S-E-P. Is that right? Except, or is it, no, it's E-S-P-E-C? No. Exceptional. Exceptional. Oh, I can't remember exceptional. That's a funny one. Exceptional. 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 That's what it is. So it's exceptional. Exceptional. Okay? Oh, let's see here. Exceptional ideas need much more time than that. Exceptional ideas need much more time than that. End of another sentence. And let's go ahead and check that over. Make sure that it is working well. Okay. Oi. Here we go. Let's go back to the beginning of the paragraph and search through to make sure that it is legible. Let's make it just a little bit smaller. Here we go. And let's begin. The second typical, so let's go get our little laser pointer. The second typical mistake is to collect notes only are only related to specific projects. On first sight, it makes much more sense. You decide what you are, what you are going to arrive. Oh, no, to write about, and then collect everything that helps. No, that helps you. I forgot the little aspirate dot. That helps you to do that. The disadvantage is that you have to start all over after each project, and cut off. Is that cut off? Let me check cut. Nope, that's not cut. Cut is, it has an and cut. Yep, and cut off. What is that? And cut off other? Yes, that's other. And cut off other promising lines of thought that mean other lines of thought. That means, that means? Yes, that means, so I need to add this. That means that even that every that's not every that ever, that this means that everything, and that should be a dot. Let's make it a little clearer. That everything you found, thought, or encountered during the Yep, so this needs to be cleaned up just a little bit. During, there we go. During the time of a project will be lost if you try to mitigate the effect by by opening a new folder for every potential new project whenever you stumble upon something that might be interesting um interesting for you. Interesting for you. Interesting for you, comma. What is it? This might be interesting for that. Oh, for that. If you try to mitigate the effects by opening a new folder for every new potential whenever you stumble upon something that might be interesting for that, you will soon and end upon, you will soon end up with an overwhelming amount of, let me check amount just to confirm. Yep, that's correct. An overwhelming amount of unfinished projects. If that in itself does not become a drag on you, a drag on your motivation, the task of keeping track of them will be but more importantly with it without a permanent reservoir of ideas, you will not be able to develop any major ideas over a longer length. No, is that length? Over a longer period of time, because you are what is that? Because you are restricting. Okay, okay. Because you are restricting yourself either to the length of a single project or the capacity, or the capacity of your memory. Of your memory. Exceptional. There we go. Exceptional ideas need much more time than that. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Wow. Need much more time than that. That's amazing. Okay. That was quite a paragraph. All right. Okay. Let's keep on going. Next one. The third typical mistake is, of course, here we go. The third typical. Yep, that's typical. No, typical needs a TI. The third, is that third? Check. Nope, it's not. It curves up. It does a separate line across the top. So let's go grab that. The third typical. Yeah, the third typical. Whoops. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Let's go. The third typical mistake. Okay. Mistake is, there we go. Mistake is, of course, comma, is, of course, to treat all notes as fleeting ones. To treat all notes as fleeting ones. As fleeting ones. Okay. You can easily spot this approach. This is funny. Here we go. You can easily, isn't that easy? Easy. Isn't that easily? Let me check. There's another example. Do you remember how heavily and easily both ended this way? Why is that the case? I don't understand that. And then really, you'd expect that to curve all the way around. Maybe to separate it from rally? I don't know. But all right, well, I'm not going to challenge this one. We'll just keep it. So we just go a loop. Easily. You can easily spot this approach. Spot this approach. There we go. By the mess that comes with it. By the mess that think I ended up doing, was it miss? By the mess that comes with it. Okay. Or rather, by the cycle. Here we go. Or rather, by the cycle of slowly growing piles of material of slowy, maybe that, slowy, let's see. Hey, oh, okay, all right. I like that, slowly, and then just has an E at the end. Okay, here we go. Of, oi. Slowly of slowly growing piles of material, of slowly growing, where's grow? Growing piles of material, slowly growing piles of material. Let's see here. Followed by the impulse for major cleanups. Oh my goodness. Followed by the impulse for major cleanups. Oh, why is this guy reading my mind? Or rather, by the cycle, by the mess that comes with it? Or rather, by the cycle of slowly growing piles of material followed by the impulse. Here we go. Followed by the impulse. See if that's right. Let me first check followed. Yeah, whatever. Followed by the impulse. Yep, that's impulse. Oh, yes. Okay. Followed by the impulse. Here we go. Followed by the impulse to do what? For major cleanups. Here we go. For major cleanups. For major cleanups. Okay, that was good. Cleanups. KLE. Let's see if that's a word. Cleanup. There's clean, and then up, of course, is just the additive. So I am going to go ahead and add that to the dictionary. Okay. Cleanup. For major cleanups. What next? Just collecting unprocessed fleeting notes inevitably leads to chaos. So here we go. Just collecting, just collecting unprocessed, look up unprocessed, looks like just going to be process, and then we have to add to it. Yes, so unprocessed would be put that over the top, unprocessed. I think I'm going to add that one, unprocessed. There we go. Unprocessed, collecting unprocessed, what is that? Fleeting notes inevitably leads to chaos. Just collecting unprocessed, fleeting notes inevitably leads to chaos. Inevitable, and then we just do inevitably. Okay, so let's go ahead and add that. Inevitable. Here we go. Inevitably. There we go. Shortened up a little bit. Inevitably leads to chaos. Leads. Let's go ahead and skip that. Jump on over here. Leads. So here, this is now leads. Leads to chaos. And this has to curve chaos. Curves underneath. Let's see if chaos is in the lineup. And it is. And that's exactly what that's. Once again, I'm starting to learn a thing or two, which is lovely. Be done with this in just a little bit. Chaos. Okay, chaos. Just collecting inevitably leads to chaos. Even small amounts of unclear. So here we go. Even small amounts of, check out small. Small, yep, that's small. Small amounts of, let's see here, small amounts of unclear and unrelated notes. Here we go, this is unclear and, what is this? Unclear and unrelated. Is that unrelated? Let's see here. This is unrelated. That should be unrelated. Let's see about unclear. Unclear. Well, is there a clear? Yep. And then so unclear, you just add the unclear. Okay, you don't need the R at the end. You don't need the R at the end. Okay, that's good to know. So let's go ahead and fix that. This is unclear and unrelated. Oh, and you separate those two. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So unclear and unrelated. Unrelated. Good, good. Okay. Keep on pumping away, keep on going, keep on going. Okay. Unclear and unrelated. I think I want to add unclear to the lineup just so that we have that in the listings. Okay. So we're going to do unclear. Here we go. Even small amounts of unclear and unrelated notes lingering. Lingering around your desk. Unclear and unrelated notes lingering around your desk. So let's go ahead and see if we can find lingering. Linger. There we go. There's linger. Lingering round your desk will soon induce the wish. Will soon induce. Let's grab induce. Induce, right? Swoops up. Will soon induce the wish of starting from scratch. Will soon induce the wish of starting from scratch. Okay, and that's the end of another paragraph. So now let's go ahead and go through and determine how much of a variant we have or anything that needs to change. Here we go. Here, let's continue. We'll grab the pointer. The third typical mistake is, of course, to treat all notes as fleeting notes. You can easily spot this approach because by the mess that comes with it, or what is that? That's rather by the cycle of slowly. Yep, that's slowly growing piles of material. What's that? By the growing piles of material. S-O-T, right? No, that's followed. Followed, so that's comma. This should be a comma. Comma, and then this is not so it needs to be a little bit longer. Followed by the impulse. Yep, that word is impulse. Followed by the And I made the mistake again. So let's go ahead and save the file and close it down and open it up again. And let's open it up again. Okay. All right. Where was that? By the impulse. There we go. By the impulse for major cleanup. Just collecting NPRSST just collecting unprocessed fleeting notes what is that? That's inevitably leads to to what? To chaos. Inevitably leads to chaos. Even some mountains, even small amounts of unclear. There's unclear and unrelated notes. What is that? Learner? Lingering. That's lingering around you. Is that around? I don't know about that one. This one doesn't look quite right. Lingering around you. Around your desk. Around your desk will soon induce. There we go. Induce the wish of starting from scratch. Boom. Okay, next paragraph down. Let's keep on going. Oh, and I completely forgot to update the image. Okay, let's go do that. Journal. Open selector. We need journal right here. Share. Okay. All right. Let's go put this back over here. And moving on to the next section. Okay. With all these category confusing approaches, what all these category confusing approaches have in common. Here we go. What all these category confusing, let's check up confusing. I can try to do it. I'll try to do it myself and we'll see. So this is confusing. I think it's probably confusing right there. Let's see if that's correct. Confuse. Yep, that's correct. That's confusion. Confusing. Yep, that's I think that's good. So the U is a little higher. So let's go ahead and put that in. That's confusing. With what all these category confusing approaches APRCH approaches have in common, there we go. Make sure that that's common. Yep, that's right. Have in common is that the benefit is that the put common back in, is that the benefit. Check that out. Okay, here we go. Focus in. Benefit of note-taking decreases. Of note-taking, check decrease. Here we go. Decreases okay. Decreases as, so it decreases as what? Decreases with, not as, with the number is it num? Look up number. Is that a long? There's number, and yeah, it is shorter. Okay. Let's check this out. So we have with the number. Check it out with the number of notes you keep, with the number of notes you keep. Decreases. What all these category confusing approaches have in common is that the benefit of note-taking decreases with the number of notes you keep. More notes will make it more difficult. More notes will make it more difficult. Check difficult. There's difficult. Okay. Will make it more difficult to retrieve the right ones. Will make it more difficult to retrieve the right ones. Is that right? Let's check retrieve. Searching. There we go. Oh, duh, it's even easier than that. It's just the R and the V. R and V, baby, R and V. Okay. Retrieve the right ones and bring related ones, the right ones, and bring related, related, that's R, that's related. Let's check it. Yep, that's related. Okay. Ah, okay. Related. Bring the related ones and bring the related ones together in a playful way, and bring the related ones in a playful way. In a playful way. But it should be just the opposite. But it should be just the opposite. Is it OPS, right? Opposite? Let's check. OPOS. Okay, so it's both. It doubles it up. Okay. OPOS. Just the opposite. But it should be just the opposite. The more you learn and collect, the more you learn and collect, the more beneficial your notes should become. The more beneficial. I don't know beneficial. Let's look that up. The more beneficial your notes should become. Your notes should become. The more ideas can mingle and give birth to new ones. The more ideas can give birth to new ones. Can give birth to new ones. And the easier it should be to write an intelligent text. And the easier it should be to write. It should be to write an intelligent text. Let's go ahead and look up the word intelligent. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. That's intelligent. The intelligent, be able to write an intelligent text with less effort. With less effort. All right, so that's the paragraph. Let's go ahead and read it back. Okay. Here we go. Where's our paragraph? There's our paragraph. Okay. What all, here we go. What all this category confusing approaches, what all these category confusing approaches have in common is that the benefit, yes, benefit of note taking um, decreases, yes, decreases with the number of notes you keep. More notes will make it more difficult to reveal the that's not reveal, retrieve, to retrieve the right ones and bring what is that? And bring what? And bring related. That's related. And bring related ones in a playful way. But it should be just the opposite. The more you learn and collect, the more beneficial, yep, that's beneficial, your notes should become. The more ideas can give birth to new ones, and the easier it should be to write an intelligent text with less effort. Oy, what a line, what a line. Okay. Oy, oy, oy. Ah. Wow. Okay. I'll be right back. Okay, back at it. Hopefully that didn't startle anyone with the change in the volume. I know that those two levels are not necessarily set correctly. All right, so let's go ahead and get back to it. Bada boom, bada bang. Here we go. We just finished this paragraph. Let's carry on. Going forward, forward, onward, and upward. Oy, let's see here. And what do we need to do now? Next paragraph. You know, today was a really good 1, 2, 3, almost four pages, which, I mean, obviously in the grand scheme of things, 4 pages is nothing, but I don't know, I think it's getting a little easier, so hey, small wins every time, you know? The big thing is just to finally get it done. Here we go. Here's our next paragraph. So let's go ahead and drop another paragraph marker and we continue on. It is important to reflect. It is important to is that reflect? RFK? Nope, RFL. I mean, that makes sense, RFL. It is important to reflect. Okay, here we go. All right. It is important to reflect on the purpose of these different types of notes. It is important to reflect on the purpose. Isn't that PPS? Purpose? POPS? That's porpoise. Purpose. PRP. Purpose is PRP. Okay. Here we go. PRP. Okay, let's go. PRP, and it is important to reflect on the purpose of these different types of notes. So let's go different types. Is that type? I think that's type, but let's go ahead and check it. Yep, good. Maybe a little bit shorter of a T stroke. Again, shorten the T strokes in these instances. Types, it is important to reflect on the purpose of these different types of notes. Period. Fleeting notes are there for capturing are there for capturing, where is that? Ideas quickly. Are there for capturing ideas quickly while you are busy doing something else. While isn't that a while you are, let's see, busy, while you are, and then what's busy? Okay, it's close. It's close. It curves back in on itself. So, while you are busy. Okay. It's going to be nice to be able to use these, to use the note-taking techniques of any sort of papers I have to write, for sure. Okay. And also, there's like video essays would be really good. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, I've actually seen people. That's where I first saw this, was in guys who do video essays. They use the slip box technique. Very nice. It is important to reflect on the purpose. Fleeting notes are there for capturing ideas quickly while you are busy doing something else. While you are busy doing something else. There we go. I think ls is else. Correct. It's another one that it'll get locked in. It'll get locked in. I know it will. I tell you, that's the way my brain works. It sits there and wanders for a while, and then all of a sudden it locks. Busy doing something else. While you are in a conversation, or is it no? When you are in a conversation, when you are in here we go again. This is conversation. I think that's it. Let's check it. Yeah, okay, good. Here we go. Conversation, S, and then shun symbol. When you are in conversation, listening to a lecture. Is that listen? Let me check. There it is. You got to include the N. Listening to a lecture. There's lecture. Let me make sure that lecture is working. That looks right. There's lecture. Okay. Listening to a lecture. Hear something noteworthy. Hear something let's see here. Hear something noteworthy. Noteworthy. I know that worthy is worth. So, and that's one word, isn't it? Noteworthy. Let's see if noteworthy is added to the listing. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Note the. Note the. That's how you can tell it. So, note. Noteworthy. Here's something noteworthy or an idea pops into your brain. Here's something noteworthy or an idea pops. Let's see if pop is in there. I doubt it. That's kind of a slang term. Yeah, pop is not in there, but that would be P-O-P. So I'm going to add that to the dictionary. Okay. Pops. Pops into your brain. There we go. Where's that? No, pops into your mind, or an idea pops into your mind. While you are running errands. While you are running errands. There we go. Errands. While you are running errands. A quick note is the best you can do without interrupting. So, comma. Quick note is the best. That does a little too long. Is the best. You can do. Is the best you can do without interrupting what you are in the middle of doing. Without interrupt. There we go. Without interrupting what you, without interrupting what you are in the middle of doing. without interrupting what you are in the middle of doing. In the middle of doing. That might even apply to reading. Does that apply? Let's see if that's apply. Oh boy. There we go. Yeah, that's apply. Might even apply to reading. Even if you want to focus on a text. If you want to focus. If you want to focus on a text without interrupting your reading flow. Without, there we go, there's interrupting again. Without interrupting your reading flow. Then you might want to just underline sentences. Then you might just want to underline sentences. Oh boy. Is that sentence? No, that's not sentence. It has to be, yep, it's a sharper and then it turns the other direction. Okay. Underline sentences. Or write short comments in the margins. Or write short comments. That comments, let's see if that's comment. Yes. Or write short comments. In the or short. Then you might want to just underline sentences or write short comments in the margins. Or write short comments in the margins. Once again, here we go. Margins. Margin. Yeah, okay. Write short comments in the margins. It is important to understand, though. It is important to understand, though. Where was that? It is important to understand, though, that underlining sentences or writing comments, that underlining sentences or writing comments in the margins, or writing comments in the margins are also just fleeting notes. Are also just fleeting notes, and do nothing to elaborate on a text, and do nothing to elaborate. Where's elaborate? That's not it. To elaborate on a text. Okay. And do nothing to elaborate on a text. They will very soon become completely useless. They will very soon. Is that very? Hopefully that's very. Yes, okay. They will very soon become completely useless. Useless, okay? So become completely useless unless you do something with them. So here we go. Unless you do something with them. Is that? Okay, so it's just in L. In L is unless. Unless you do something with them. Something with them. If you already know what you will, if you already know that you will not go back to them, if you already know that you will not go back to them, if you already know that you will not, go back to them. Don't take those kinds of notes in the first place. Don't take those kinds of notes in the first place. Take proper notes instead. Take, and let's go ahead and put this over here. Oh, ouch. Here we go. Take proper notes instead. PR, PR. That should be proper. Yep, that's proper. Take proper notes instead. Fleeting notes are only useful if you review them within a day or so. Fleeting notes are only useful. Fleeting notes are only useful. Right? Isn't that useful? Let me check. Yep, that's right. Are only useful if you review, and then review them within a day or so. Review them within a day or so. Within a day or so. And turn them into proper notes you can use later. And turn them into proper, oh, we just did that, yep, into proper PR notes, into proper notes you can use later. You can use later. Fleeting literature notes fleeting literature notes can make sense. Can make sense. If you need an extra step to understand or grasp an idea. If you need an extra, let's see if that is extra. Oh, it's just es over the top is extra. Of course, yep, because it's at the beginning, it's a prefix, like extraneous. If you need an extra step, if you need an extra step to understand or grasp an idea, if you need an extra step to understand or grasp an idea. But they will not help you in the later stages of the writing process. But they will not help you in the later stages. That's going to be up here. That's probably stage right there. Okay. Yep, there it is. In the later stages of the writing process. In the later stages of the writing process, as no underlined sentence will ever present itself, comma, as no underline, what's that? Yep, that's correct. Boy. Okay. As no underlined sentence will ever present itself. Sentence will ever isn't present just PR? I think that's what we determined, right? Yes, will present. Will ever present itself when you need it in the development of the argument. When you need it in the development, so what is development? Do you have an M that you add to the end of that? Yes, okay. Pretty straightforward. So you add an M to the end of this. Okay. Development in the development. In need it in the development of an argument. Of an argument. Okay. These kinds of notes are just reminders of a thought. These kinds of notes are just what? Are just reminders of thought. Are just reminders. I think I remember this one. It's I don't know if it's a I think it's just a reminders. And then it's an offset. Let's see if that's right. Okay, it does need the E, but not bad. Not bad. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Okay. Add that again. Reminders of where was that? Are just reminders of a thought, a ghost of a whisper. Last hush. Reminders of a thought. Which you haven't had the time to elaborate on yet. Which you haven't had the time to, what was elaborate? Is that labor? Elab. To elaborate on yet. There we go. To elaborate on yet. You haven't had the time to elaborate on yet. Okay. Permanent notes. On the other hand, on the other hand, are written in a way that can still be understood. Are written in a way that can be still understood. Can be still understood. Even when you have forgotten the context they were taken from. Even when you have forgotten there we go, forgotten the context of the context they are taken from. The context they are taken from. Even when you've forgotten the context they are taken from. Okay. That marks the end of one paragraph. Now we'll go back and reread that to confirm that the script is at least adequate. Okay. Here we go. Where does the paragraph start? For the paragraph marker. It says a long section, so it would make sense that it's here probably. Yes. And there it is. It is. Here it is. It is important to reflect. Yes, it is important to reflect on the purpose of these, yes, of these different types of notes. Fleeting notes are there for capturing ideas quickly while you are busy doing something else. When you are in a conversation, when you're at a conversation, listening to a lecture, hear something noteworthy, or an idea pops into your mind while you are reading. What is this? Errands? Oh no, while you are running errands. There we go. While you are running errands. A quick note is the best you can do without interrupting. Here we go. Without interrupting what you are in the middle of doing. That might even apply to reading. If you want, if you want to focus on a text without interrupting your reading, then that then should be a little bit smaller. Then you might just want to underline sentences or write short comments in the margins. It is what? It is important. That's important. Yep. it is important to understand that why can't I see that? What is it? It's important for you to understand. What is that? That is thou? Though. That's though. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. It is important for you to remember, though, yep, that's though, that underlining sentences or writing comments in the margins are um, are also just fleeting notes and do nothing to um to el, elaborate. Do nothing to elaborate on text. They will very soon. They will soon. They will very soon um, uh, become. They will very soon become. Become cappy. No, not cappy. They will very soon become. Oh, this wasn't a page turn. They will very soon become completely. That's completely. Oh, no wonder. Compy. Oh, that's one of them I should have tried. I should have tried come. Okay. All right. Gotta get the cramp out of my wrist. All right. Become soon completely useless in unless you do something with them. If you if you already know that you will not go back to them, don't take those kinds don't take those kinds of notes in the first place. Take proper notes. Take proper notes. NSD. Instead. Fleeting notes are only useful if you revisit. No, if you review. That's review. If you review them within a day or so and turn them into proper notes you can use later. Fleeting fleeting literature notes can make sense if you need an extra step to understand or what is that? Grasp or grasp an idea, but they will not en el elip they will not help. Did I forget to I forgot the aspirate again. They will not help in the later stages of the writing process. As no, need to shorten up the tail on that as right there, as no underlined sentence will ever present itself when you need it in the development of an argument. These questions of notes are just reminders of a thought which you even had, which you that's had, what's the which you haven't had. Oh, that's right. Which you have not had. The time to elaborate on yet. I need to shorten up that tail, and that's a little too long. Which you have not had the time to elaborate on yet. Okay, there we go. Oh. Going on. Permanent notes, on the other hand, are written in a way that can be still, and that still is a little too big. Gotta shorten these up, taking a little too much liberty. There we go. Still, I guess the hand's getting a little tired. It's hard to keep it lined up. Oh well, whatever. We're almost done. And then have a chance to rest and do it again tomorrow. You understood? Permanent notes, on the other hand, are written in a way that can still be understood even when you have forgotten the context in the context oh blast, what is that? The context they are taken. I got to do a sharper turn on that. They are taken. They are taken from. All right. Okay. And that's another phrase done, and I have about 15 minutes left. So let's just keep on going. Let's keep on going. Most ideas will not stand the test of time. Most ideas will not stand the test of time, while others might become the seed for a major project. While others might become the seed for a major project. Unfortunately, they are not easy to distinguish right away. Let's look up unfortunate. Unfortunate. There it is. Unfortunately. Let's see if we can shorten this down. Unfortunately, they are not easy to distinguish right away. They are not easy to distinguish. And I think I have distinguished now, right? There we go, yeah. Huh. Just took the third time to get it. To distinguish right away. Right away. That is why the threshold to write an idea down. Oh, here's an example where we can use that phrase. That is why. Hey, look at that. Small win. I get to use a phrase. Yay, yay, yay. That is why. Oh, ouch. The threshold to write an idea down. That is why. The so that's curve up. Threshold. That might be hold. Let's take a look and see. Almost. Notice the TH is much smaller. That's the thing I'm noticing, and that my THs are becoming a little bit too grandiose, so they need to stay small. That the threshold, there we go, to write an idea down. To write an idea That is why the threshold to write an idea down has to be as low as possible. Has to be as low. Oh, here's another example where we can do as low as. Because we've done as much as, and I think we can do as low as, right? Let's check that. As low as. Yes, that's the phrase. Now the S does turn in the opposite direction, so we can include that here. There we go. As low as. Okay. Has to be as low as possible. And possible is P-O... Isn't it just P-O-S? Yes. That's not opposite, so that's P-O-S, yep. Low as possible. Ooh. Oi, oi, oi. Oh. Almost done. Almost done. Here we go. Need to pop up. Just noticed how, wow, that the lighting on this is so strange. It grabs it and then it turns it down. Let's turn it up just a hair. There, just a little bit more. There we go. Okay. And so then we go from possible, as low as possible, as near as possible. Well, lots of versions. As low as possible, and then but is equally crucial, but it is equally crucial. But it is equally, but it is equally, what is equal? Equally. Equally. Check it out here. Oh yeah, that's right. It's just equally. But it is equally, where's that? But it is equally crucial. There's crucial. But it is equally crucial to elaborate on them within a day or two. Okay, good. Here's lab. No, that'd be lav. To elaborate, right? To elaborate on them within a day or two. On them within a day or two. Okay? A good indication that a note has been left unprocessed too long. Here we go. A good, and then indication, I'm going to guess that it's in it's going to be an NT, indiction. Is that what it would be? Let me write it and see if this is correct or not. It's no, that doesn't look right. Indiction. Nope, that does not look correct, but let's go ahead and see. Let's see what good Master Gregg tells us. Okay, all right. Fairly close. It just has to have a vowel. Okay, whew. Small, small. Very nice. Sure thing, Rasmussen. Will do. Will do. Hold on, let me just... There we go. All right. Okay. Where was I? What is this? A good, where was I? A good indication. That's right. A good indication that a note has been left unprocessed. That a note has been left. Does left require a T at the end? Let's see. It does require a T at the end. There you go. It does require, so left. A good indication that a note has been left unprocessed too long. Okay. A good indication that a note has been left too long. I think long requires the stroke to go down. Unprocessed. Did I forget that one? That a note has been left unprocessed too long. Boy, I almost forgot that one. It should be unprocessed. I think. I mean, we'll call it that. We'll see if it works. Has been left unprocessed. A good indication that a note has been left unprocessed too long. Boy, well, it's almost like my eyes are crossing now. Has been left too long. I can't focus. Wake up, wake up. Okay. A good indication that a note has been left too long is when you no longer understand, is when you can no longer. Ouch. Hoy. Alright, I'm just going to call it there. That's it for the evening. Timer's about to go up. It's almost 9 o'clock now, so call it there. Rest up a little bit and go to bed early. Good night, all. Good night, all. There's the time. All right. Close this down. Go back over here and go to end the stream. Adios.